There's one number that settles almost every gas generator versus power station argument before it even starts. Most people never think to ask it, and the salespeople selling you either one are very happy to keep it that way. Hold on to that, because it's going to flip how you shop. Here's the setup. You want backup power, maybe the grid keeps blinking out, maybe you camp, or you're building out a van. So you start looking, and immediately you're pulled into two camps that act like the other side is stupid. The gas crowd says batteries are toys. The battery crowd says gas is loud, dirty, and over. Both are wrong and both are right, depending entirely on how you're actually going to use the thing. So let's do this honestly. No brand loyalty, no pretending one side wins clean. Start with what a gas generator is genuinely good at, because it's real. A gas generator makes power for as long as you feed it fuel. That's the whole superpower. A good inverter unit like the Honda EU 2200 puts out 1800 running watts and sips less than a gallon over 8 hours. Step up to something like the Champion 4000 watt dual fuel and you've got 3000 running watts, 10 hours on a tank of gas, or 25 hours on a single propane bottle. Run out? Pour in more? As long as gas stations or propane swaps exist, you have unlimited runtime. For a multi-day outage, where you need to run a well pump, a big window air conditioner, or power tools all day long, nothing in a battery box touches that endurance for the money. Now the part the gas crowd skips. That runtime is only free if you already have fuel. In an actual emergency, you're in line at the same gas station as everyone else, and stored gasoline goes stale in 3 to 6 months whether you used it or not. The engine needs oil changes, filters, spark plugs, call it $30 to $50 a year if you actually maintain it, and a seized carburetor if you don't. It's loud. 64 decibels at 20 plus feet for the Champion, and that's the quiet inverter kind. And here's the one that actually matters. Carbon monoxide from portable generators kills around 400 Americans a year. It's the leading cause of poisoning deaths during storms, exactly when people run them. You cannot run one indoors, not in the garage, not with the door open, ever. That's not a nag. That's the single biggest real-world limitation of the entire category. So that's gas. Unlimited runtime, but only outdoors, only loud, only with fuel and upkeep. Flip to the power station. It's a big lithium iron phosphate battery with outlets and an inverter. Something like the EcoFlow Delta 2 gives you 1000 watt hours and 1800 watts of output. The Delta 2 Max doubles the battery to right around 2000 watt hours at 2400 watts. And what you get for that is basically everything gas isn't. It's silent, 30 decibels, quieter than the room you're sitting in. Zero fumes, so you run it in the living room, next to the bed, wherever. No oil, no filters, no pull cord, no fuel to go stale. You pull it out of the box, charge it, and it just works. Including 10 years from now, those lithium iron phosphate cells are rated for 3000 plus full cycles. And here's where the money mat quietly turns. Running a gas generator costs somewhere around 50 cents to $1 for every kilowatt hour of electricity it makes, once you count the fuel. Recharging a power station from the wall, 10 to 15 cents a kilowatt hour. Bolt a solar panel onto it and that recharge drops to zero. The sun doesn't send a bill. Over years of use, that gap is not small. So why doesn't everyone just buy the battery? Because the power station's weakness is the exact mirror of gas's strength. It holds a fixed amount of energy and then it's empty. A 2000 watt hour unit runs a fridge overnight and some lights no problem. Ask it to run a space heater or an electric burner for hours and you'll watch it drain in well under 2. When it's dead, you're not pouring anything in, you're waiting to recharge. And if there's no sun and no grid, that wait is the whole problem. Which brings us back to that one number I promised. It isn't watts, and it isn't the price tag. It's your duty cycle. How many hours a day, for how many days you actually need power, and how heavy that load really is. Run that honestly, and the answer picks itself. If your real need is getting through the occasional blackout in comfort, fridge, phones, internet, CPAP at night, maybe the furnace fan, a power station wins outright, and it's not close. It's quiet, it's safe indoors, it's cheaper to run, and it moonlights as camping and road trip power the other 360 days a year. For most people, reading backup power as a few times a year keep the essentials alive. That's the honest recommendation. A Delta 2 or an Anchor C1000 around 1000 watt-hours covers a surprising number of households. Gas earns its place when the duty cycle gets brutal. Multi-day grid down, heavy loads, no sun, and you've got fuel stored. That's a gas job, and pretending a battery covers it is just battery fanboyism. If that's genuinely you, a dual fuel inverter like the Champion is the sane buy, because propane stores forever and burns cleaner than gasoline. But honestly, for serious home backup, the smartest setup isn't either or, it's both. You run the gas generator outside for 2 or 3 hours to refill the power station, shut it off, and then coast quietly on the battery indoors overnight. You get gas's endurance and the battery's silence and safety. You burn a fraction of the fuel, and you never run an engine while you sleep. The people who prep this way stopped arguing about which one is better a long time ago. So don't buy the label. Don't buy the vibe of one camp over the other. Figure out your duty cycle first, hours, days, load, and let that number tell you which one or whether the real answer was both all along.